For this lesson, I also want to cover finding the percent of increase or decrease between two numbers. Now, if we think about what this means with increase or decrease, we're looking at the difference. So for instance, if we look at A from 10 to 25, how much does it increase? That's the first thing we need to think. Well, it increases by 15. So we want to find out 15 corresponds to what percent of increase? Well, if we start at a number, and I'm just going to write that down in the table below. Let's say right now we're starting at the number 10. We want to find out what that 15 corresponds to. So if we increased by 10, that would correspond to a 100% increase, in which case we would wind up at 20. So if we started at 10 and increased by 100%, our finishing number would be 20. We must be increasing by more than 100% then, because we're getting to 25. And obviously we are, because we're increasing by 15. So another way to look at it, if we increased by 20, that would be like increasing by 200%, because this table is moving in a ratio. So if we increase by 15, right now you probably got the idea, that's 150%. But we can think to go from 10 to 15, it's like multiplying by 1.5. And that would also correspond here to 150% times 1.5. So from 10 to 25 is an increase of 150%. You could have a very different type of a question if I said 25 is what percent of 10? And the answer here is not 150%. It would be 250%. But you might be able to start making sense of that. 10 was 100%, so if we're increasing by 150%, then 25 must be 250% of 10. But we're not going to cover that as much today. For the second question, if we're moving from 200 and from the number is 150, and we're getting down to a number of 25, then we're decreasing, and if you see here, we're decreasing by 125. So in this case, if we decreased by 150, we would be decreasing by 100%. In this case, we're only decreasing by 125%. We're only decreasing by 125. So we need to figure out what percentage decrease we're decreasing that. To do this, I'm going to stop off at 25 and by dividing by, we divide by 6. So I'm going to do 100 divided by 6. And that's 16.67. And now I'm going to multiply by 5 to get to 125. And that's 83.3. So for B, we're decreasing by 83%. That's just for this type of problem, so you have an idea of how to work these.